Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are still using the Bauble Blooms Bundle. I've added a few things into this card. I usually try and keep it to a minimum, but I have gone all over the place with this one. I've used the Damask Folder. I've used the traditional sparkling gems on here. I've used the letters from the party alphabet dies here. And I've used the largest of the perennial postage dies to create the background. This is where I started, and I heat embossed the gold on basic white, and then I went over it with the Blackberry Bliss blending brush. The reason you do the embossing first is because when you use your blending brush, your paper is wet. So you need to leave it to dry before you put your embossing powder on, or the embossing powder sticks to the whole thing. So I did my embossing first, or my heat embossing first, and then I did my blending, and then I die cut this out. And again, I'm using heat embossed gold embossing powder on basic white to make my little filials for the top, so that it matches my heat embossing here. So I really like this. I liked this concept, but I wasn't super happy with the card. So my next iteration was this, which I loved. I used the Damask Designs folder on the letters only and not the background. And I colored the traditional sparkling sequins with my Blackberry Bliss dark, and I just dotted it on because these sequins are rough. You don't want to rub your blend across it. You just want to kind of dab it on. Still not 100% thrilled with the result. I thought the background was a little plain. So on the video today, I'm going to combine the two. So just for the sake of time, I have already done the heat embossing and all the die cutting. So we're just really going to build the card today. And I realized I need a middle for the card because I am using a Blackberry Bliss card base. Again, it's the largest of the perennial postage dies, and then the Damask folder. But what I did, just to add a little bit of interest, is I still took my blending brush and I just went around the edge. I love the look of a little bit of ink around the edge. It defines it from the background, especially if you're doing kind of white on white. And that's what I did with the letters, the J and the Y in this one, is I went around the edge with the blending brush just to help differentiate them from the basic white background. So I'm just going to continue going around, and you'll notice that I haven't re-inked my brush at all. The Blackberry Bliss is super juicy. So I'm just going to close that up. I don't think I need it anymore. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to glue, excuse me, the hanger, the filial, onto the top of my bauble. There we go. And I'm just going to line this up and lay it down, give it a push, and I'm going to make sure that it's straight, and I've just lifted the whole thing right off. So we're just going to put that down again. And I am a little crooked. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to leave that alone for a minute. I thought about dimensionalizing this, but I am dimensionalizing the middle, so I am just going to flat mount this onto the card base. So this is going to be a 10-fold card. You could do it as a side opening landscape card as well, but it's not overly heavy, so it should be okay as a 10-fold. So we're going to do that, and then I can take the J and the Y, and I'm flat mounting them. This one, I dimensionalized them, again, to help give a little bit of lift from the background. This one, they're just flat, and that really makes the middle pop. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put some adhesive on the letters and put them pretty much in the middle, but right at the edge, right at each edge. I waited a while to get the, it's the Party Alphabet and the Party Banners bundle. I got both, and I waited and waited and waited. Basically, I waited until I had enough Stampin' rewards to be able to use them as the discount so that I could really cut the cost. So I'm going to just put some dimensionals on the back of the bauble. Move those out of the way. Before I do that, I am going to put the inside of the card down. Now, you could also stamp with some Blackberry Bliss on the inside if you wanted to. This is just an offcut of very vanilla. So I'm just going to pop that in. We can put our middle down. And you can see I'm still a little off, but the glue's really set up now, so I'm not going to move it. It looks square from the front, so I'm not too worried about that. And we're just going to pop this down right in the middle, like that. So I've got the top inside the edge here. If you wanted to, you could put a piece of ribbon around it and tuck it in underneath the back if you wanted to look like it was actually hanging from something. And again, the filial, I just pressed my paper into the Versamark and then sprinkled the adhesive powder on and then heat embossed it so that I could have that gold foil top. So what I need now is my traditional sparkling sequins, and I'm just going to use the gold ones. I'm not going to worry about coloring them, partly because we do have that damask folder in the back, so it's kind of doing a little bit of the work as far as interest goes. And I'm just going to pop this one up over here. So that is our final iteration, and I love it. So again, this is where I started with the blending brush. Then I went to this one and I thought the background was a little plain. So then we end up here with the damask background and the gold heat embossed folder or design on the front. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.